Musalia Mudavadi, Deputy Prime Minister. This is our third such meeting. Thank you very much for coming to speak to me once again, and welcome to the JSO interview.
Thank you, John.
Deputy Prime Minister, since 1989, when you first entered the political arena, to the present day, when you're now vying for the presidency, you've been in the political business for a long time. May I draw you on lessons learned in that period of time, 1989 to the present day?
Well, it's quite a run, let me put it that way. But what I can tell you is that Kenya's politics is extremely dynamic and highly unpredictable. This is one thing I can just, in a nutshell, tell you about the Kenya's political landscape.
I would say that in that time, if you were to have your memoirs written by a person such as myself, that in one chapter you'd have to have the recorder rolling and you'd say, I made some major tactical errors. And I would say that you've done so in the recent past. I'm alluding now to the decisions that you've made in the lead up to the formation of the Amani coalition. Is this exactly as you'd envisaged it?
I don't think it's a tactical error. Because, as I said, politics is dynamic, and there are twists and turns at every event.
And betrayal, I dare say betrayal.
And betrayal, okay. Right. But I do not regret having taken the decision that I have taken to contest on the Amani coalition. It is perfectly within my rights. I have an ambition, like other people do have an ambition, and I do not regret having stepped forward.
It's interesting that, Deputy Prime Minister, that you should use that word, ambition.
Yes.
Is this all about ego and selfishness? I must be president in my lifetime no matter what.
I think we go into politics and we all have an objective to serve, but at the same time to serve in different capacities. And there's absolutely nothing wrong.
But one could say that in your case, Deputy Prime Minister, in your case, politics has been a full-time job.
Yes.
Straight from university to become a politician. You could serve us now, I don't know, as a sort of elder statesman advising on the ins and outs of Kenyan politics. Why the presidency?
Because I believe I can serve Kenyans quite effectively in that role. I have played my role serving in other capacities. But as the president, you have greater leverage in directing policy in terms of where you would like it
Is that a roundabout way of saying it wasn't my fault up until now? All the skeletons in your political closet, which we won't have time to sort of talk about in detail, but you know of their existence. Would you say, I couldn't have acted otherwise, and when I become president, I'll behave differently?
No, I'm not suggesting that at all. And I'm not, when I talk about the presidency and me being able to direct policy in different matters, I'm talking about policy. I'm not talking about the challenges that one may have encountered in my career prior to that. I don't believe in saying that I'm passing the buck, that this was wrong and it was wrong because of so and so. No, I don't think we want to go there. I think the position that I am in now is that I want to offer leadership. I want to offer service to the people of Kenya, and I want to offer it from the position of the driving seat.
The position of the driving seat, some would argue that in the way things have got, we don't have the time for the level of intensity. But Deputy Prime Minister, the idea is that you are advancing the cause of ethnic tribal politics vested solely in an appeal to the Luhya community. Now, the Luhya community, by definition, is questionable as to who belongs to it. But I believe there are 1.4 million people who describe themselves as Luhya out there. And they are the core of your appeal to the presidency. And then you go and look for a Kikuyu to hope that he would be able to find disgruntled Kikuyus, disenfranchised Kikuyus in Kenyan society, and they will make up a huge sum of people. Bad equation?
No, John. I think whoever is thinking on those lines is on the wrong track. Because let's look at all the players in the political landscape. We have an ethnic background. Nobody out there is from Mars. If it is Honorable Raila, he comes from the Luo community. That's his heritage. but he's chosen to have a running mate from the Kamba community. Now, that is no different from Uhuru Kenyatta, who is from the Kikuyu community and chooses to have a Kalenjin running mate. So equally, I, Musalia Mudavadi, I may have my heritage as a Luhya, but my running mate is from central Kenya.
Jeremiah Kioni.
Jeremiah Kioni. So there's absolutely nothing wrong in that. And that, to me, does not bring out ethnicity. It just brings out the diversity of the Kenyan society.
But the idea, this idea that the coalition came about as a result of the events of 2007, 2008, and it was meant to be a sort of one-off. It's now emerging that Kenya's political history is such that no one individual can seek the mandate of the Kenyan people alone. It's got to be coalitions. And those coalitions are by their very nature tribal.
I think we may be judging Kenyans too harshly on this one. But one positive thing, which I must say is emerging from this new constitutional dispensation and the feeling of politicians now, is that you must learn to integrate and work with other people. No single community can now stand out and say that we shall do it alone. I think that is a positive development for Kenya's politics. Now, where we need to move forward is to establish whether those coalitions can have a synchronized objective, where the ideas come together, the ideology is packaged properly so that it can win the appeal of the majority of the Kenyans. I think that is where we should go. But I think it is positive that no single community will go out there and say that they want to dominate the rest of the Kenyans.
The huge elephant in the room, Deputy Prime Minister, is the pollster. And the pollster who says, as we speak, you're running between 5–7% of the vote, 5%. And this is a question I've put to others before you in a similar situation in the eyes of the polling companies. No chance. Non-starter.
I just don't want to be deterred by the opinion polls. I can tell you that they're paid for. And if we were to focus on what...
But that's a terrible accusation to make.
Well, I'm making it. If we were to go out and say that this is what we want to follow, then I can tell you Kenyans will never be able to move forward. I think
but Deputy Prime Minister, if we look at the predictions of opinion polls in the last elections, they were more or less correct. It was going to be a close-run thing. And indeed, it was a close-run thing. And we had people getting 4 million, 3 million votes, and the third person getting 800,000. That was predicted, and it came to pass. Kalonzo Musyoka came in third, way behind everybody else. And this time round, you're in the tail end of activity.
I think you'll be surprised when you look at when the results do come out. Because one of the things that we have to safeguard against is that part of the crisis that we faced in 2007, 2008 after the election is because people were being drilled to take a position on the basis of the opinion polls. Now, when the results did not come out in accordance with some of those predictions, then it sparked off a problem. So I would like to urge Kenyans in this particular context to be very wary about the opinion polling. At this point in time,
well, you're suggesting just that. If you win, then by their very nature, the elections will be rigged because you have no chance in hell.
Now, that is not true.
Yes.
That is not true. That's the point I'm trying to put across.
Right.
That the opinion polls are not the ones that cast the poll. Some of them are designed to shape people's voting pattern, not to give the voter an independent opportunity. I think let the Kenyan have a choice, let the Kenyan have an opportunity.
So your solution is that we shouldn't move the way of the US and other societies and have opinion polls and let these people get it wrong slowly. You're saying we in Africa, the African tradition, we have no predictions on the elections. That is our way.
I think that is not exactly what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that the level of objectivity in our opinion polling is questionable.